Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today on Customer States What, we have a 2006 Toyota Highlander that we're replacing power steering lines because they are leaking, and we are replacing a brake light bulb because the bulb is expired. Real quick recap. Fluid, freaking cafe. The brake fluid is Demitas. You know what comes next. Let's take it up top. So now that we took it about halfway up, we took the we took the passenger tire off. We took this panel off right here, as it sits right there. Now what that's going to do is it's going to give us decent access to our power steering pump and power steering lines. We're replacing that guy, pretty much replacing all the lines, including this guy right here. And we're going to take it further up top, and I'll show you why. So now that we took it all the way up top, excuse me, I'll let you know right now I sprayed a little PB on the power steering rack fittings. Now the lines that we were replacing, we're also replacing this guy right here, and as you can see, that line right there is rusty and it's leaking. The lines at the back of the pump, well, you tell me. That guy's leaking there. This guy up here is leaking as well. So that's pretty much all the main power steering lines, high pressure and low pressure lines that go into the rack. They come off the reservoir. This guy, I believe, goes to the cooler up front. Cooler's not leaking. Cooler is staying cool, which is very good. But yeah, we got to replace those lines. First thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna try and crack those free because yeah, I think they will. There's no rust on the line, and there's minimal rust on the actual fittings, and there's no rust on the rack. There might be some minor corrosion there, but it's nothing too serious, which is good. And then we're gonna take the feed line off right here, and we're just gonna let the fluid piss on out. It's going to be dirty because the fluid looks like cafe with no cream in it. I usually like cream in my cafe. A little sugar too. A couple of lumps. Alright, let's crack those things free. Alright guys, we got one line out. We had a mount right there on the rack. We had one right here. Then there was another 10mm bolt over here, all the way down. And then the one you really can't reach, there's another 10mm nut that attaches to the upper intake support. And that one sucked to get. I had to use a very thin gear wrench because my socket and my shallow socket and ratchet would not fit because there's not a lot of room back there. But we were able to get it out. So now I should be able to just disconnect the banjo bolt on the power steering pump. Then I got to figure out how in the hell I'm going to get that line out, and then how am I going to get it in? Giggity. Well, alright, we got that line out, and there's no easy way at it, guys. Not at all. I think I had to bend it a little bit just to get it out. And yes, that's most definitely a giggity. Well, at first, I started pulling it out this way, and then I got really stuck on this end here on top of the cat, so I couldn't go any further. So then I was able to reinstall it, well, not fully install, but reinstall it back into the original position. Then I started coming out this way here, had to maneuver a lot, had to help guide this side with the banjo fitting there because it kept on getting caught on a bunch of other stuff, kept on getting caught on that black bracket right there for the intake, then it got caught on the O2 sensor over there. But I was able to maneuver it and wiggle it out, but I really think I kind of, once it got on top of the cat, I think I may have bent it somewhere just to give me that little extra room. Well, putting it in is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. So here's one of the mounts right here. I'm going to have to look at the new power steering line, see if I have to transfer these over. This one looks like I'm able to transfer over, as there's a 10mm bolt there. These, they don't look like I'm able to transfer them over. So these were the two 10mm that were really hard to reach. This one, I took out the air box and I was able to access it fairly easy. I did have to fight some fuel lines, so I had to work around them. So yeah, that line's out. Now we have access to this one. I'm going to break that free. And we already dismounted it from the rack over here. There's a mount there. There's a mount on the subframe right over here. And that leads to the line over there. Very good. We're going. But you know what? Not for nothing. It's lunchtime. Well, alright guys. We got the brand new power steering lines right here. We're going to unwrap them and make sure they are correct. Well, actually, I know they're correct. Excuse me. They are correct. We just have to lay them out like how I did right here with the old ones. So this goes along to the reservoir right there. This runs along the subframe. This goes to the steering rack and close to an exhaust. This goes to the pump, and that goes to the rack right there. And here is our pressure switch, which we are reusing. And the only other line that we are reusing is the power steering pump feed line. It wasn't leaking. The clamp still has pretty good tension to it, so we're not going to replace it. It wasn't swollen either, so giggity. We are good to go. So let's unwrap those brand new lines. Alright, very good guys. The new lines are out of the bag, and it looks like they come with all the brand new mountings. Right here, here, and there. And they also come with... We got a new O-ring right there, and we got a brand new O-ring right there. Very good. Alright, one of the first lines is in. We got a mount right there, and there's also a mount right there. That one is very hard to get to. I was able to break it free with my 1/4 inch and a shallow 10mm socket, but after I broke it free, I had to use a gear wrench to continue because I got too close to the alternator over there. So we got that one out, we got the new one in, and now yeah, we're gonna move on. I do have the reservoir in the parts washer right now in attempts to clean all that schmeg out of there. There was no fluid in it, but it still looked like there was fluid. So yeah, that's in the parts washer. Now yeah, let's continue. We got the new power steering line installed into the rack. We still have to install the 10mm nut to mount it to the rack there. We still have to install the line onto the other side of the line we just installed. But first, before we do that, we're going to try and run the hardest line here. And I haven't figured out how I'm going to do it. I might go from up top somehow, like drape it across the rear of the engine and slip it on down. I might be able to do it that way. I'm not sure. There's not a lot of room. I'm going to give that a try. See if it works. Fingers crossed. Well, very good, guys. We have all of our lines installed. All the fittings are tight. All the hose clamps are where they need to be. Now, for fluid wise, oh, I just saw this. It has to go back in there. So, fluid wise, the kit did come with a cleaner. We did fill the reservoir with the cleaner first. We didn't start the car. Whoever said this in the comments, I did what you said. So, shout out to whoever said it. I put the cleaner in the reservoir, and then I added some fluid just so it's at level. And I turned the wheel left to right a bunch of times. Watched the fluid reservoir go down. Topped it off. Did it again. Did it a bunch of times, and then I saw our clear fluid just turned black again. And that's because of the varnish that was already still in the rack. I did get this reservoir clean, and before you couldn't tell the level, but now you could actually see the proper level. So We had to put this reservoir in the parts washer. I had to stick my pick in there with a rag and clean up as much as I could. And yeah, we got it clean. So now we're gonna start it, and we're gonna bleed all that air out of the system. Very good. All right, very good. We're just double checking our work. We brake cleaned everything and we don't see any leaks. That's good. We don't see any leaks. That's very good. That's all residual right there. Don't have any leaks over there. Brand new line. Very, very good, guys. And a big shout out, whoever gave me that little tip in the comments. Giggity. I got no gurgle from that power steering pump when I started it. Oh yeah. So guys, if you don't know what to do, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification for further content.